It was presented as a he said situation. Even to this day, it was presented as a he said. And I think the National Football League office was very clear that they launched a thorough investigation among all parties involved, including the interviewing of people and the analysis of technology that was on that field, and they found no evidence of Miles's allegations. And I think that should be stated.
Now, obviously, when you're a head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is your quarterback, so you know him obviously more intimately than Joe Public out there or even somebody on an opposing team. I'm imagining you spoke to Mason Rudolph. When you did speak to him, what exactly did he say to you?
He said what he's consistently said throughout this entire ordeal, that he did not and would not say what was said that he said. And he's been extremely consistent from day zero in that position.
You've got numerous.
Okay. So that was years ago. Mason Rudolph, Myles Garrett, them having a fight on the field. We'll talk about that because I think it's important to talk about. Welcome to First Kick Seahawks. Please like and subscribe. Today is the day. It's Turnover Thursday. Oh yeah, this is the day that decides games. It's the day where the weirdness of the ball can tilt a game either in your favor or against your favor. And as we saw against the 49ers and the Ravens, you can have two stacked-ass teams, but the team that doesn't take care of the football is the team that loses more often than not. So who are we playing this week? Well, we're playing the Steelers. And they've been having quarterback woes for a few years now, ever since that asshole Ben Roethlisberger left. And currently their quarterback cycle has been Kenny Pickett, the local boy, Mitch Trubisky from the Bears, who can't throw to his left, and Mason Rudolph, who grabbed and kicked at and tried to rip the helmet off of Myles Garrett and then screamed at him and called him a stupid N-word. Allegedly. Because apparently there was no evidence of him actually saying it. That day, apparently, the quarterback microphone was not in his helmet. And the center was nowhere near him. There, you couldn't hear it at the time. And there was so much other things. So no one's going to take Myles Garrett at his word. And everyone's going to ignore the fact that there's footage of the quarterback kicking him in the nuts and grabbing him in the testicles and grabbing the back of his helmet and trying to rip it off and then twisting it all over the place. So they're not going to listen to the victim of that, who then got screamed at and then retaliated, of course, by swinging his helmet. They're gonna remember Myles Garrett for all of that. But if you look at Mason Rudolph's career, because that happened in 2020, Mike Tomlin said all those things with, on First Take and everyone else. It was everywhere. He had to protect his guy. He had to protect the shield. Because that's what was going on there is what? You have a white quarterback calling your black players the N-word in the NFL? What's going on in this NFL sport? Yeah, of course he's going to go out and say Mason Rudolph didn't say a racial slur. And of course, Mason Rudolph is going to say, I didn't say that. Of course, he's not going to fucking, he's not going to fucking say that to his black coach. What's his coach? Jack Del Rio? They're not talking about January 6th. And immediately after that, his career disappears. He's benched. And we'll talk about that. It's really hard to find any current turnover charts on anything related to Mason Rudolph and how he's going to be coming and how we're going to turn him over and attack Mason Rudolph. Because basically, after that season, his career is quietly done. He's been in the building, which is interesting. So clearly he wasn't blackballed out of the NFL, and he's not off the Steelers. So somebody in that organization believes in him, but he is not the face of that franchise. And he had one game in 2020 where he threw 4 interceptions, but otherwise he takes care of the football. But since that season, it's like, yeah, he'll get like a start, or he'll come in at the end of a game and get like 3 passes to end the game. So as far as like, how has he been doing since 2020? I don't think he even knows. It's kind of like Drew Lock. So keep that in mind while we go into this game. He had a maturity problem in 2020. And going into 2023, he's been sitting on the bench behind Mitch Trubisky and then Pittsburgh's golden child, Kenny Pickett, who then got benched. Kenny Pickett played last year behind offensive coordinator nobody liked, and then it sounds like they're struggling with this year's offensive coordinator, who I have not researched, because that's how bad it's been. And maybe I'll look into him tomorrow or on Saturday. But all 3 quarterbacks have had their opportunities this year, and now it's Rudolph coming in on Christmas Day and getting a victory. And let's go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen for y'all. Credit to Pro Football Reference and Next Gen Stats. My phone is buzzing as we approach Thursday Night Football. Here we go. So here he was on Christmas. Targeting the blind side. He's got 2 touchdowns. One of them's an explosive. He has no other explosive passes on the day. But he's got this one deep explosive pass past the 35. I believe it goes for 85 yards with the yak. Let me double check that. This is on Pro Football Reference. Where is his 86 yards long. Yeah, so he was just targeting that left side all day, just hosing them. And that was against Cincinnati, who they blew out 34-11. 27 attempts, 17 completions, 36%, 290 yards, 0 interceptions. That 86-yard long, though, right? You take out one of those attempts and one of those completions, and suddenly he's got 204 yards. Still, 1 sack on the day, and a rating of 124. just came in and just cooked. And then, of course, earlier in the year, he came in when the game was over against Indy, 2 completions on 3 attempts. But when you look, they identified the weak spot, which was to the left, put their thumb in, and didn't stop. We're going to attack the left side of the field right over here. And then they just ran the hell out of the ball, but nothing on the right. Nothing on the right. This is the Trey Brown side. This is where Cody Bryant is going to be, right? If Witherspoon doesn't come in. This is Woolen's side of the field. If Woolen can just shut down this, and we can see how Mason plays on the other side of the field, that's going to be interesting. I want to show you why. In 2001, week 10, which was his previous start, he throws an interception on the right side. And if you see, he is throwing his completions on the right side all over the place. Continue. In 2020, week 17, he does throw an interception on the left side underneath. Explosive touchdown on the right. He's got those deep explosives on the left. Line of scrimmage touchdown on the right hash. And also noted, this was his 2020 passing chart. He's terrible on the bottom right and on the bottom left, but he's good in these deep verticals. They didn't even target down the middle. He did not get a lot of snaps in 2020. 2019 is where he got most of his work. And when you look at 2019, a lot of average play. Again, good at the explosives on the left, which we saw Christmas Day. So this will be Diggs and Woolen's area. Terrible on the right. And as we saw on Christmas, didn't even target that area of the field. That'll be Trey and Love's area. So again, 1 interception on that side so far. 1 interception on the left. Week 16, 2019. It's got that deep touchdown on the left, 2 of them. This looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? There's no targets really on the right in completions. 2 touchdowns on the left. We're looking at tendencies. How does this quarterback perform? Week 19, 2012, week 12, 2019. Interception underneath, right down in the middle. He's got some completions on the left. A bunch of incompletions, taking shots on the verticals. And then he's got like 1 completion on the right, but he's finding his success on the left still. And it looks like they're trying for like screen plays on the right. Maybe swing plays. But yeah, that's sucking. He's not hitting the middle of the field on any of these charts. Here's the fun one. Here's the one you guys are really gonna like. Deep interceptions on the right side. Again, no, not hitting anything deep over here. Again, he's hitting a bunch of this stuff on the left. He even gets a swing touchdown over here. He's getting most of his targets on the left blind. trying for these explosives in the hash marks, but he's get 3 interceptions in the middle. That's what, like the 5th interception in this middle area here. And then I think that's like the 3rd up over here. He's good over here. He's safe over here. But yeah, most of his targets go over here. He manages to get a couple over here. But for the most part, all of his targets are going to be on that left side. Let's count. 1 interception on the right. 1 interception left near the hash. 1 interception in the honey hole. 2 interceptions honey hole left. 1 interception honey hole right. 2 interceptions right. Then he's got another interception on the left near the hash. Again, most of his targets are on this left blind. Nothing deep. 1 deep vertical's there. Bunch of short stuff near the line of scrimmage. It's like Mitch Trubisky, where he can only throw to the left. He can only throw to the left, where Trubisky can only throw to the right. If you just put these two guys together, you have a full quarterback. This is awesome. Interception again on the right side. That's 3 in this right pillar here that he's thrown in his career. Another touchdown on this left side. Look, all of his targets. It's like there's just a lane heading this way, and he gets deeper over here, and it's always so short over here, and then gradually it just climbs. It's like a vertical. Short little touchdowns right here, and then every once in a while he hits a 30 bomb over there. But more likely he's hitting an interception on this side than an actual completion. It's so goddamn funny. It's so goddamn funny to look at his passing charts. Oh my God. And then week 5, 2019. This is the last one I'll show you. Touchdown on the left side, 14 yards. Then he's got these deep incompletions, a couple short little passing, right? This is probably his most balanced game. But yeah, he's not gonna kill you. He's not gonna kill you all over the field. It's so good. It's so good. Now, granted, you could argue maybe he's learned something, but when you look at the Christmas game, it looks exactly the same. He's completing all of his stuff on the left side, and there's absolutely nothing going on the right. It's going to be the same exact game against us. If we can stop Najee Harris from running against us, and then he's just going to be throwing on the left side. Woolen might get an interception over there, or Diggs. It might be his first interception on that left side in his career. Unless Trey Brown and Love get interceptions on that right side, it could be Love's 5th interception. This is gonna be a fun game against the Steelers for our defense if Mason Rudolph is the starter. Why would they do this? Why would they do this to themselves? It's just as bad as starting Mitch Trubisky. At least Mitch Trubisky can throw to the visible side. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyways, that's what's going on with Mason Rudolph. He can throw explosives. He's got a big arm. So there's that. Let's talk about this the fumbles. The Steelers have fumbled the ball 13 times this year, but they've managed to recover 22 from their opponents. So there's a pretty good likelihood that if there's going to be a fumble this game, that it's not going to be against them, because a lot of these fumbles, 2 of them have come from Pickett, and 1 of them has come from Mitch Trubisky. Their center messed one up. Najee Harris had 2. George Pickens, their wide receiver, had 2. Gunnar Olszewski, other wide receiver, had 2. Calvin Austin, wide receiver, had 1. So it's possible we could punch one out of a wide receiver, but it's very unlikely. As far as interceptions go, where did that bitch go? Where'd that bitch go? They've only thrown 9 interceptions all year, which is insane when you consider they've had Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph, and they've decided to bench Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky in favor of Mason Rudolph. Kenny had 4, but 6 passing touchdowns. Trubisky had 5 and 4 passing touchdowns, and Mason Rudolph has had 0 and 2 passing touchdowns in 1 game. So it's just, they, other than like Mitch, they're taking care of the ball, kind of. They're just not putting up any touchdowns through the air. I mean, Geno Smith is throwing more interceptions than these guys are. And their defense is picking off 16. So they have almost double the amount of interceptions that they've thrown. It's not bad. They have 12 passing touchdowns on the season, which again I think is about where Geno Smith is. Geno Smith, Pro Football Reference. Geno Smith has 17 and 9 interceptions. So they are behind Geno Smith. He has 3,145 yards, and they have 2,995 yards. And when you consider how many games Drew Lock has been in, that's not good. They have held opponents to 21 touchdowns. So they're not doing so good in the defensive touchdown field. And then worst of all, passing yards, they've allowed 3,728. So they're getting burned. I think the biggest thing is their team has only been sacked 32 times, which is, healthy at this point, especially when you consider the bad teams are getting sacked over 50. And then they've sacked their opponent 42 times. And as we talked about the other day, TJ Watt has accounted for 17 of those, which is why he should be in Defensive Player of the Year conversations. Let's see. I'm getting a buzz on my phone. A lot of buzzes on my phone today. Let's see. They only have touched back 7 times, which is good. That's about where Michael Dixon is. So we'll probably get opportunities to return with DJ Dallas, but they're probably going to keep it within the 10. So we're in a pretty good spot. Looks like within the 27 of their 71 punts have been within the 20. That's their main punter, Presley Harvin III. Now let's see. I want to talk about their leading tackler for tackles for loss. TJ Watt, of course, 16. Their other linebacker, Eldon Roberts, has 10. Alex Highsmith has 8. And then their other linebacker, Quan Alexander, has 5. Nick Herbig also has 5. And then Cole Holmcomb has 4. And that's just their linebackers. Another linebacker, like all their linebackers just get home for tackles for loss. Quarterback hits, TJ Watt has 33. Alex Highsmith has 17. Just eating. So just expect a lot of hits and negative yards on run plays and people to be in the backfield hitting Geno Smith. We're not going to get advantageous special teams position. But this is a good opportunity for our defense to turn over the ball. And as long as Geno Smith doesn't throw any interceptions this game, because as I talked about, KZ, their free safety, has been pulled out of the game. He's suspended. And that's their dude. And Minkah Fitzpatrick is there. But KZ's their dude. If we can take advantage and not let TJ Watt and company beat us, we should win the turnover battle this game. And by winning the turnover battle this game, just take care of the Steelers team. Mason Rudolph is not a good quarterback. Yeah, they don't fumble the ball. Najee Harris might do it. It's unlikely. Their wide receivers might do it if we punch it out. It's possible. But don't bet on it. What you can bet on is that Mason Rudolph can't throw to the right. And when he does or throws to the hash marks, it's going to lead to an interception. And that's where we're picking the ball off anyways. But if we throw to the left and that's where Woolen is, if he can do Reek Woolen things and shut down the left side of the field, that's the only place Mason Rudolph can throw to, which will force the Steelers to be one-dimensional and they have to run the ball with Najee Harris. If Bobby Wagner and Bush can shut down Najee Harris, and Bush, who this is his comeback revenge game against the Steelers who let him go, if he can have his revenge game and shut down Najee Harris, the Steelers team is not going to do fucking anything against us except turn over the ball, and we should just take care of them. Except for one thing. Earlier in the season when Mason Rudolph was not starting, they beat the Browns and they beat the Ravens. And yeah, they were having quarterback problems. They swept the Bengals. They still have to beat the Ravens next week. Or I say play the Ravens. But this is a good team defensively up front. We have to beat their front 8 because they're going to be bringing Minkah Fitzpatrick into the box. So our offense needs to show up and not let Mason Rudolph and Najee Harris actually have a chance to participate and let TJ Watt and company just roll on us. But we're healthy And we should have learned a lesson against the Titans team that any given Sunday, a team can beat up on you. Go against the Steelers team. Get ready to show them who's fucking boss. Bush, have your revenge game. Pick off Mason Rudolph. Shut down the run game. Don't let TJ Watt all over you. And let's kick their fucking ass. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe to First Kick Seahawks. And let's fucking roll. Go Hawks.